There we go. Hello, guys. Hope everyone's doing okay. So it ended up being 3 weeks since the last stream, which is a lot longer than I expected. Um, so long story short, a few things have kind of happened. Well, nothing happened, but immediately after the last stream, I kind of started to deep dive into the eye setup a fair bit. So off stream, quite a lot of this project has changed. If you have me on Facebook, then you've probably seen it, because I've been posting it as I go, or possibly seen it, I guess. But yeah, so the eye setup has changed a fair bit. I think I've got an image somewhere. Basically, I just kind of rebuilt the shader so that it's a lot more physically correct now. In terms of the fluid inside the eye isn't scattering too much light and that sort of stuff. This isn't a perfect eye shader by any stretch, and the blend with the eyelid and caruncle is still kind of screwed. But fundamentally, the eye shader has been adjusted quite a lot. I did a very mini project, which is on my ArtStation, which is the same eye. It's Gustave Dore. It's the Pierrot eye, but I just modeled something to put around it. But yeah, I've basically just reworked how the shaders are set up and how much bump there is, how much subsurface there is, and eventually got an eye that actually, in my opinion, works quite well. The modeling is the same, I believe. I don't think I changed anything about the model. Textures got updated, but other than that, it's just shader changes. Nothing too fancy really happened. So that's the eye. I also had the fun thing of burning out on the project. So this project kind of died for me a little bit. I really didn't want to continue working on it. The eye kind of helped revive that a tiny bit, but I was like, okay, well, I've got this eye. I do want to push the character it's for. The problem I had is that this image I find deeply, deeply boring now. So off stream, I spent a bit of time kind of messing about with compositions. I did eventually find one that I quite like, so I've done some quick drawing and rendering to get something that is vaguely what I would want. So where's the newest one? So this is the latest render. So basically, the idea now for the project, I think this one has the paint over. It doesn't. There's a version I did where I painted over it. That got a little bit more stuff. I can find it on Facebook. But yeah, so the general idea of the project now is, rather than being a one-to-one rebuild of that original painting, I'm still going to match the character. However, I want to play with the composition quite a lot. In this case, I'm using it as a chance. Let me just grab this. So I'm using this as a chance. This is the concept art version. Photos on the mirror, some webs, the mask from Sticky Monsters, just to get some kind of background stuff going on. Maybe add a tear or something. That sort of stuff. Basically, the idea to the project now is, rather than being a portrait being painted of a performer, it's now an image that's kind of been taken of a performer. I still haven't entirely figured out if I want this to be period correct to original. If this is just a completely fictional image of, it's not a camera, it's just a viewer snapshot type thing. But I want him to basically feel like he's behind stage in a very run-down theatre, using a shattered mirror. This is whatever they've got. Photos of his family or memes on the mirror. I probably will hide some Easter eggs in there. And just had some general decoration around the mirror to make it feel like, this is just where he gets ready. This is what he's been doing for the last 20, 30, 40 years, however long he's been performing for. I want it to feel kind of isolated, hence the massive lighting shift. I've specifically set it up so that what is seen in the mirror is brighter than what is actually here. So we've got this bright orange curtain behind him. It's a bit more reflective, but also that's obviously reflecting. But in our scene, he's a lot darker, a lot more blue. That's just a simple ray switch. The shading isn't complex at all. But I just felt like compositionally that makes quite an interesting adjustment. So this is the new direction of the image, which does mean I've got a few more assets to make. In terms of other stuff, it's too early to say for sure what's going to happen, but I have been speaking to a software creator, a company. It's the Foundry. I've been chatting to them. there's a decent chance that I might be getting access to Katana, Mari, and Nuke to start doing work with them from time to time, like kind of producing content. If that goes through, again, nothing's confirmed yet, but if that goes through, that will give me the chance to use Katana for a personal project, which naturally means I'm going to be shifting this entire project over to Katana, which will take some time. I may do that on stream once I've got the first asset down and figured out the process. It shouldn't be too complex though, because I'll still be using Armold, it'll just be a different UI. But yeah, so that's something that's kind of in the works. So because of that, I don't want to go building too many assets yet, just because I will likely be having to change software later. There's no point building too many shaders. So with all that in mind, we're going to focus primarily on just working up his face, making it look as good as we can without really changing too much about the shader, and more just working on textures and displacement. And we'll get something that looks a lot better, hopefully. But yeah, so I should hopefully be finding out a bit more about the Foundry stuff soon. I had a chat with them on Thursday. They're really, really lovely guys. So hopefully something comes out of that. If not, so be it. This project will continue as is. But if it does, then we'll be shifting over to Katana and Arnold, which will be a lot of fun, because I really like working with Katana in work. Anyway, that's enough babbling. So I've got ZBrush open already. In fact, actually, I've got to close Mari. I've got Mari non-commercial going, but I'll close that for now. We don't need to save anything. We'll just work on the sculpt for today, for the most part, and kind of test out different renders. One thing that's worth noting as well with the project, given that we're now doing a reflection in a mirror type setup, render times are horrific. So this is no longer like, I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to do the full progress render thing that I always do. I'll probably start working half res for a while, because everything is seen through the reflection of a mirror, which is needlessly heavy. So I will probably still work on the asset with our old camera. But I've got the scene set up as modularly as I can, so I can just kind of hide one group, unhide another, and switch cameras, and that'll be it. But yeah, use your illusions. Hey man, how you doing? But yeah, so I want to work on the sculpt for now. So I'm going to primarily work on this area here, because it's looking very flat and weak. So we'll see what we can get out of that. So yeah, I guess let's get started on that. We'll see what happens. We've got some extra cameras set up in here. I will also have to figure out a pipeline to get Yeti into Katana, which I'm sure will be a lot of fun, because Yeti is a nightmare. But yeah, so let's get started on this then. It's moving things around a little bit. But yeah, I apologise about the lack of streams for a while. This project has definitely been one that keeps stopping and starting, which I appreciate is really dumb. But yeah, so let's work on this for a little bit. Just going to set my brushes again. Brush. And I'll need to find some images reference for this guy. Let's go to brush, modifiers, save to 0. Cool. Let's see what we can do. Just setting it to use Geometry HD for a moment. So I did have some reference somewhere, but let's have a quick look. So I was looking primarily at cellulite in terms of like the structure of the upper eye. So I will need to get some reference, my pure ref up, I think. Let's see if I can find a good image I am looking off screen just because when you search cellulite you get a lot of images that aren't too savoury. Not really stuff I want to put on YouTube on screen. Just gonna add the word old man, see what comes up. Yes, this isn't an old man, this is someone who's 27, apparently. But his skin is interesting ref. So I'm thinking in terms of like the general pattern, just trying to get like this sort of stuff on that like droopy eyelid, just see what kind of comes out of it. And I did send a reference image to a friend a few days ago when I was thinking about it. So let me see if I can find that as well. I'll say a reference image, I did a test sculpt. So we'll see kind of what comes out of that. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop babbling too much. Let's start sculpting. It's a bit much. Let's see, because I remember when I did the test, it looked alright. I just can't remember what shapes I sculpted. Ah, there we go. Okay. So yeah, the test that I sculpted, sent to Jesus. This is what I was planning about with, so yeah, we'll rebuild that as like a starting point. A bit too far, isn't it? Sick. Thanks, man, for all these live streams. Really appreciate your work. Cheers. Thanks, man. Glad to like them. don't know when this stroke happened, but I'm going to keep it. Kind of looks like a scar in a way. Still way too bumpy. Let's go all the way back. It's one of those instances where like the first sketch works better than the conscious effort. Just undo that. Let's go into the stroke. Lazy mouse. Lazy step. 0.01. That should make the brush 5 times stronger, but also 5 times smoother. So we're going to set that to like 8 is actually what's going to type. That's good. It's just a lot smoother now. Just mute Facebook. That's not what I want. That's the wrong brush. I feel like they should hang more. Like that. That's a bit too aggressive, isn't it? Let's do form soft. BFS. There we go. Bit too bubbly now. There we go. Bit better. So something I want to do as well, I really want to get some cavity maps out of this guy, so let's give that a quick go. First, let's save 23. No, 23. Cool. So, Z plugin. Let's go to multi-map exporter. I just want cavity maps. Let's go 4K. I think we need anything else. I'm gonna obviously get some displacement out, but for now this is fine. So let's export that. ZBrush exports. Cavity. That felt amazingly low resolution. Let's check CG stuff, projects, personal projects, ZBrush exports, cavity. It does have some stuff in it. feel very low resolution though. Z plugin, export options, cavity map. Negative values for an inverted map. I'm gonna set that to 5. Cavity blur, let's also set that to 5. Getting a bit too subtle now. Okay, so if we set cavity map back to so that's 10. Export maps. I preferred it in the previous version, so we'll go back to that. I may have to generate one from other maps. I could probably generate one from my displacement map. Cool. Let's just check. Yeah, that will have to do. It works well enough. I can remap that to get something out of it. Okay, so now we want to get displacement out. So let's go down to our lowest subdiv and just export that geometry. Export, modeling, Maya, modeling exports, this guy, cool, and then let's get into creating our displacement. Actually, let's just double check that's set up correctly. Okay, for subdiv level 1. New plugin. Corral maps. If I actually don't want 4K, I want 8K, right? This is going to take some time. And that will go to ZBrush, exports, ZDisp. I have to buy a texture SOZ skin displacement thing at some point as well for old men. And I kind of want to wait on the possible Foundry stuff for that, because if I get a full Mori license, then I can abandon 5 Udums, maybe put them up to 10, maybe even 15, who knows, and we can get a lot more out of that then, a lot more detail, also a lot more render time. Alright, so while that goes in the background, let's close you. Panels, perspective. So we're going to import, go to modeling, Maya, nope, modeling, exports, okay, yeah, that looks about right. I've had this group for a little bit. Okay, so create. Cool. So grab this guy up here, then go to render. Oh, texturing. Create texture reference. I want a blend shape. In that order. File, blend shape. Okay, so we have that. I think the ZBrush is probably still whirring away in the background. We don't need Grimaps. Let's check out ZDisp. It's only done the first map so far. It's got to do 5 UDIMs. That's going to take some time. Okay, so while we leave that to go in the background, there's no point rendering yet. What is the next best thing to work on? So they did do a little bit of work on the skin paint, in terms of like the actual paint on the skin. Tried to make that feel a bit more correct. I guess we could work on that, so I should probably launch Mari. I should probably hold fire for a little bit. Okay. Well, something I did see that I want to adjust is the sheen on this guy. So this is a reference. Where's sheen at? There it is. Let's get a little bit more sheen on that. Let's go 6. Is there a way to commit changes back to the original reference? I guess the easiest way is to import objects from reference, which then should apply the changes by proxy, I guess. Sheen, yes, is still applied. So we can just go into general, and space that to delete both of these. And then I can just select that clothing group again. Right, let's get that republished. Where is the cloth group? There it is. File, export selection. Let's export it as a. It's in asset publishers, yeah. Cool, there we go. How's this doing? Okay, so take about 3 minutes per UDIM. Thinking I might try to get some assets over from Sticky Monsters just start placing stuff. Because the placement of objects would still be the same regardless of if it's Katana or Maya. So yeah, let's do that. So how's best to do this? I need to first reference this back in. Create reference. Set publishers. Cool. So I'm going to turn off light rig A, which is our previous setup. Turn on light rig B, which is our environment and lighting for the new setup. And we're just going to create a cube. Let's reverse the normals on this. Modify. Reverse. Okay, so we got this guy. Let's move him over. Something we'll have to do at some point is actually like look up this wall, but like model it so that it's straight on. Because currently it's got this 3-degree shift, which I think is all it is, stopping it from being straight, right? It looks that way. Yeah, okay, cool. So we need a 3-degree shift on this guy at all times. So I'll set that back to 0. Then modify freeze transforms. Oh, I don't want to do that. Put the lights in there, right? So I need to name my groups too. You're a 3-degree shift. Thanks, man. I mean, I will be offended by that for a long time, but so be it. Mirror, LGT, group. And by the way, hi. Hi, Nick. How are you doing? Okay, so we want to modify freeze transformations. Cool. In fact, actually, I should have been able to put that back in there, right? It's just when I go into modify freeze transforms, I need to freeze only the parent. I don't want to freeze the modify. If I go into this, modify freeze transformations. No, okay. That's why there was a way to like stop it from propagating down too much. It just freezes the values themselves. Anyway, let's start getting this positioned. Let's get into the correct camera. Something I've started doing as well, just while I'm in Maya, rather than saving presets all the time, with each camera I've just put the resolution I want to render in the actual name. Makes life a lot easier. Cool. So we have... Oh yeah, we need to be able to see through that object. I need to turn on backface culling. There we go. Panels. Let's go to this guy. Yeah, so we want something about there. Because we're going to have like bottles and stuff on there, right? I feel like it's almost worth splitting this into a completely different scene for a little bit. Did you end up changing to more of a square ratio for the render? Yeah, I did. So originally the resolution was 1920 by 1200 for the render that I originally sent you. And I tried doing 1200 by 1200, but it just felt so confined. So I split a difference, went 1600 by 1200. It helps a bit. It's not as wide as it was before. Like I think earlier the edge of this reached like just past like here. I obviously moved the camera to compensate, so this side here is the same amount of width, like mirror to edge of frame is the same width as the last time, but you get a lot less of the back of this dude's head. Right, so let's import. Do I just need to run to the other project and just grab everything? As in, like, go open the scenes. I should just be able to get it from here, right? Sticky monsters, scenes. Fuck off, please. So let's get that now for a moment. Okay. File, import. Sticky monsters, scenes, modeling, Maya, scenes. A lot of redundancy there. Okay, so I modeled the creature directly in scene, didn't I? If I go back a fair bit, I'm going to have a lot less geo to contend with. Let's go here. I'm just going to delete everything other than the mask. And obviously I have to... unsupported nodes, that's fine. So, sticky monsters. We don't want the cloth group. Oh, okay, wrong thing. Okay, so we don't want that. 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 Oh, it's a much smaller scene. Oh yeah, because he was a miniature, of course. There we go. This is literally the only thing I want. So let's drag him out of there. Delete that. It's like me leaning against the wall, kind of stuck in with a thing. So, Windows, let's get these visible again. Windows, settings, preferences. Could be worth potentially doing a render from the perspective of the mirror and then later comp it in. Nah, I like to do as much as I can in camera. In terms of production, it would be worth doing that, but my personal projects have always been like almost anti-optimization. I forgot how weird the topo is in this area. Okay, so let's go. What was I looking for? General namespace. Get rid of this. Cool. And it has a shader. I don't know if that shader is supported, but we will have to fix the paths. We have height. Oh, this does actually work. I just need to fix the color spaces. sRGB texture, which in this is just sRGB texture. Oh no, sorry. Wait, what did that say a moment ago? Oh, this is roughness, sorry, that should be set to utility raw. And you need to be set to utility raw. Okay, in theory this should work. So let's see. I'm going to hide the Pierrot. and hide his clothing. Okay, let's hide that. So I know that off screen I was doing some shader stuff, but wasn't really doing anything fancy at all. Okay, let's go this one. Has it crashed? There we go. Okay, I'm gonna save the scene before I forget. Let's see how this is doing. Okay, all of them are done now. So I will need to go Arnold, utilities, update TX files. Oh, cancel this. Okay, I'm glad it saved. That seems like a helpful thing to. Okay, so let's go to Maya. Okay, so open scene, modeling, Maya. Okay, let's go into here. I'm just gonna, in the Hypershade, just gonna go edit, delete unused nodes, which will delete a lot of stuff, and then we'll save again. So now I should be able to run utilities, update TX files. There we go. So it's not trying to create TX files for shaders that aren't in use, which is what it was doing a moment ago. Again, like when I did Sticky Monsters, it was my first time in Aces, and I think I was using 1.03 of OCIO. Now I'm using OCIO 2.0. There's a bit of a different setup. Let's see. Does the mask render without any changes? If it does, that'd be fantastic. Hello. Oh, I've still got the environment smoke, haven't I? There we go. This is so strange. I think I accidentally broke that back wall. Outliner. Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's broken. That's okay. This means that the displacement needs to be stepped way down. My guess is that it had a scale on it before. It's also got 2 shape nodes. Right, so I need to name our material soon as well. Let me just check this guy out. That's not what I want at all. Okay. So if we go set range, drag this. Let's go 1, -1, 1. Cool. And then you multi down that by that much. Okay, so we got that. So, oh, we need to do a 2-camera. My guess is that you have displacement disabled. Apparently not. Love it. Oh, X displacement is going to be way weaker now, right? So what's the scale of the object? 3.6. So we would need this to be, the displacement to be that much stronger. Let's go into that. Okay, let's get into the hypershade. Scale. There we go. So that feels wrong. Oh, because that... So that should still be 1. So is it just the lighting that's making it look weird? I feel like I'll need to rework the shaders a little bit. Improve it. Yeah, it's very low res feeling. Also doesn't need to be that high res. Let's turn on auto bump. Oh, it already has it. So there's something not being caught. Like, this displacement feels so low res. But like, why? Do I have any other maps? Hey Emrika, how's it going? I believe that's a new name in the chat, so if it is, welcome. If not, I'm a terrible streamer who should try to remember names well. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's start a... Let's go to U. Don't need that at all. This just feels a little bit lacking, but... Was it really this low resolution? The roughness is good, but that feels wrong. And that feels soft. going to put this into displacement. I'm going to merge the two of these. So let's go set range, disconnect you. Okay. Okay. See disp. Set this to plus. Then I expect this to break. There we go. So let's check out the normals pass and slowly step this down. Let's go 0.1 first. Still feels really low resolution. I mean, it can work, it just feels wrong. I don't remember it feeling this low res. I'm new here, your videos are very helpful for me, thank you for all your things. No worries. Glad you like them. Okay, so that'll do for proxy. This looks so poor. Currently, rather than modeling smashed mirror, I've just got a cell noise that's remaps to hell, like doing a displacement thing. And it works, it just looks awful. So it's to lower IOR. Let's go 4. Yeah, I'll definitely repaint some aspects of this. Let's do a little bit remapping too. Yeah, color correct. Let's drag you into here. Drag you into there. I want to exposure that up by 1. Oh, definitely not by 1. Okay. Rather than that, let's do a AI remap. What's it called? Is it AI range? Oh yeah, bias circle. I've grown to love the bias setting in AI ranges. So I use them quite a lot at work, obviously not with Arnold. RenderMan has the PXR remap node, which has this bias setting, and I love using it. Basically just shifts all of the settings, or all of the values a bit higher. So if I display this, go back to the perspective camera. Cool. So if I isolate you, so bias fundamentally tweaks the values towards, kind of remaps everything non-linearly towards it. It's really nice for getting extra information for remapping without necessarily losing too much detail. I've grown to really like it. Let's just set it to 6. Well, I guess we'll set it to 0.5 for a while. But yeah, we'll bypass it for now, because it's pointless doing too much work anyway. Everything will have to be rebuilt. Right, so... do we have the desk there? I think we do, right? Yeah, we do. So let's start throwing objects in. Just for a composition. Let's just do that. There it is. Okay, so if we get... I think the quickest way to model this would be to do a cube. Then delete all but these 3 faces. There we go. There we go. So like that kind of works. Well, it does feel like the entire thing is off balance. So I feel like it should lean that way. There we go. That'll do. Okay, so next thing, let's figure it out. We have that. Wanted to get a super speedy spiderweb thing in there, which for now we'll just use a plane to represent it. Right, so trying to remember where it was that I originally painted this in. Let's just do that. Let's just pull it down like that. Pull it until it's against that wall. Cool. Kinda works. I feel like this needs to be a lot more defined though. Yeah, that'll do for now. And what else did I draw in? There wasn't much. Obviously the focus is and always should be this boy. Definitely need to fix the lighting though. In terms of like, I'm currently relying on lens effects to add the vignette effects, but I should do a certain amount of that in camera. Because currently it's too bright. I think it's because my setup at the moment is really simplistic. Like it's literally just dome light and then the free spotlights or free area lights on the mirror. So I don't have anything to actually light the back of the character other than bounce light. So I'm having to rely quite a lot on that rather than actually controlling what my guy looks like. Which is the way I should have done it. Well, it's the way I still can do it. It should come with a delay. Let's see how this goes. get rid of the white balance. Is my nuke up and running? No. Okay, I need to set that up at some point. I want to do a test of getting a photo and making it look old. I could give it a go in Natron for now. And then set up nuke non-commercial soon. In fact, let me just quickly try it. I'm gonna... Yeah, let's give it a quick go. Let's see if it'll just launch. Start non-commercial mode. Yeah, I need to update it on the site. Okay, let me get... Let's find an old photo online. Actually, could we do it in shader? Okay, let me get a photo. What would be a good example? Okay, I'm going to temporarily save the scene and create a new one. So I'm going to create a plane. And it's going to be, let's find a photograph. Portrait photo. Let's see if I can make it look like an old photo in shader. So let's just grab... Okay, I'll get a painting by Gustave Dore. So let's have a quick look. I need to decide, do I want them to actually be photographs or little postcards? I guess that's something worth figuring out. Just looking for like a portrait or something that is painted. Other than, obviously, the one that this project is based on. This could be interesting. Okay, so around about the time he existed, photographs were a thing. They were just different, I guess. Save. Let me just quickly put something on my desktop for now. Photo test. Cool. So, it needs to be roughly twice as tall as it is. Maybe not that much. 1.5. So far that works. By extension, this then needs to be like that. Okay, and we're going to do this. Just put it at an angle. Let's create a... went to go make TY opening nuke. So I was going to open nuke, but my non-commercial's expired, so I need to set that up, but I'll do it off stream. I want to make a photo feel like an old photo. Basically, these little squares in the render are photographs or paintings. Haven't decided fully yet. Photographs were a thing back then, but they were just very rare. So I'm not entirely sure a Paul Circus performer would really have any photographs. He might just have like little paintings from artists. Yeah. I'm aware. That's why I said it's really rare, yeah. But yeah, so what do I call it? I'm gonna see if I can do a test in shader to make a photograph feel decent. So, let's go create a skydive. File. Then go to the environment. Dishes, HDRs, bathroom. Okay. Send new material. shade. Okay, grab this from my desktop. Okay, let's go into the UVs. So let's get some displacement in there, just add a little bit of chaos, and obviously we'll need a reference map. Displacement. AI noise. AI remap or range. Magnifying subsurface. Let's get some surface color in there. Yeah, it's going back through itself though, isn't it? Okay. I thought the radius, so... Well, the radius just needs to go down, but like... I don't know. Let's see. Let's go modify. Where are we at? Reverse. Definitely need to add some kind of variation to the spec map. AI color correct. Let's throw that into the spec color. Desaturation. This image is stretched. Let's go with this on the surface. Feels like a bit too much subsurface radius, so let's lower that. Need to get some kind of grain on this. Maybe an edge wire as well. Let's get some noise in there, AI noise. And let's use a AI layer color, a layer RGBA. Okay, so now let's enable layer 2. Overwrite. I used to use a cell noise actually. AI cell noise. Come on. Please. There we go. So that to cell 1. 20, 20, 20. Let's go way higher. 100, 100, 100. Let's go with 2 octaves. 3 octaves even. Okay. Displacement. I can just use bump actually. Okay, let's replace that with Wally. Let's set this to add, or plus even. Where's that? Plus. Actually, let's set subtract. It's weirdly not working. I know it's because this colour. Oh well, this will have generally quite large colours. I guess I kind of need to mess about with that. Let's do a AI range. Okay, but min should be 0.5 or something. There we go, that's better. Let's do something like let's go to deformers, add a nonlinear, bend again. Really don't like that. Should get some edge wear in this guy. AI curvature. Out color R mix 2. Oh, is mix 2 taken? Okay, so I need mix 3. There we go. It's weird how it's doing this at the bottom. Update full scene. That's not really working the way I want it to. This might do for now. Just need to get some. Need to get some. What's the word I'm looking for right now? Depth of field for some presentation. Okay, so let's duplicate this guy. Perspective 1. No. Okay, well it's saved. I hate that V-Ray's, the PLE version of V-Ray is like wormed its way into every single scene. I haven't used it on this project, and every time I save, I get like a warning saying I'm using the non-commercial V-Ray. It's beyond irritating, because I can't just turn off the plugin. Like it breaks. Oh, I can save this actually. Okay, let's get this exported. Probably end the stream pretty soon. Scene. Did I ever actually save that scene? Okay. So let's try rendering this guy. Let's get a coat on this. Okay, let's do 80mm lens, that makes everything feel smaller. Okay, that SSS radius needs to be a little bit, what's the word? A little bit less saturated. There we go, a bit better. Okay, then let's just add a little bit of depth of field. I'm going to duplicate this camera. Arnold. Actually, let's lock a position. What's it got to place that like? There we go. Cool, there we go. So let's lock position this guy. Cool. Get some Arnold depth field in there. We could try lentil now, actually. Let's give it lentil a go. Free. Let's go for polynomial. 85mm. And then focus distance should be set to about 5. Apparently not. It's so sensitive. Let's go over 18. .1. For now, I'll switch back to regular Arnold depth of field. Set that even lower. Let's go 025. Should I put like over the top lens effects on it as well? Add images, exposure. Okay, that'll do. So the same for this guy. Cool, I'm going to let that clean up and have that be the last thing I do for tonight. Just get like back into the stream a little bit. But yeah, so a little bit of fun. As I said, I'm kind of like hesitant to push too quickly on the project while I still wait for the software stuff. Figuring out what's happening with that. I don't know how long it will take, but I feel like this week is when I should find out. But yeah, so in the meantime, I'll probably try to plan out what I'm going to do. Probably model the mirror properly. Treat that as its own asset for a little while. Do some web R&D or something in the next stream. But yeah, so anyway, hope you guys are having a great night, and I should see you in the next stream, hopefully. Right, bye guys.